from the National
Take out the-
Association of Realtors, 9%. You guys, I am so freaking passionate about what I'm gonna tell you today that I really have chills on my arm. I seriously have chills on my arm because wouldn't you rather pull from the 82% than from the 9%? And there's nothing wrong, like I've done this for 17 years and I have tried absolutely everything. And I've tried to pull from the internet and I've tried to get, you've seen my social media. I try to do social media. This is how I run my business. And this year I dug back into it and my personal production went up from 13 million. I will end the year at 19 just from digging into this. And my team members who are here, Nathan and Sarah and Ray did his business like this and built it. It's just easy, isn't it? It really feels organic and easy, and that's what I want in my life. I don't want hard. I don't want to have to learn new stuff. And I don't want to push. I don't want to be the salesy real estate agent. And trust me, nobody wants that. So let's try to find some new ways of doing this today. So here's what I want to say. Math me. That's the title of this. Take the total number of people in your SOI. So we're talking, if you haven't figured it out today, we're talking about your SOI. And that, what does that stand for? Oh, good, okay. Now there are no wrong answers here today, except that would have been a wrong answer. Okay. So how many people, write down right now, how many people do you have in your SOI? And then I want you to write down how many people you think I have in my SOI. Don't lie. If you don't have a lot of people in your SOI, that may not, just write it down. All right, so who has under 100 people in their SOI right now? Rate them high. Okay, who has 100 or more? Who has 200 or more? 400 or more, okay? That's about where it stops. So somewhere between under 100 to 400. All right, how many people think that I have less than 100? Less than 200? Less than 300? 500? Okay, so I like it, I have 250 people in my SOI. Think about how many transactions I've done over the years. 17 years. And I only have 250 people in my SOI because I want to be able to really devote my time, attention, and efforts to the people who are what I call raving fans. Now, I'm not for everybody at all. I'm not even for most people. So, I'm just gonna be real here, I'm gay, so that takes out half the people wanting to work with me. That's fine. There's a lot of other things, but I have to really find my niche. And so when I do find them, I double down on it, okay? So here I want you guys to write down in order, what are your top 3 modes of prospecting? Modes of prospect. So where did your business come from last year? Was it open houses? Was it referrals? Was it circle prospecting? Was it door knocking, expireds? All right. Just what was your number 1 source?
Referrals.
Okay. What was yours? Sphere. Good. Yours? No, you.
Me?
No, or
I have farming my neighborhood.
Farming your neighborhood? Okay, awesome. So my number 1 was SOI, and that's why I'm here and talking about it. And I would just encourage you to move SOI further up the list because you'll see today what you can do with it. So I'm gonna start now, and this was I thought this was funny. And then I look at you guys and it's probably not gonna be funny, but, so, you know, what I was gonna say is that today, I'm going to teach you how to touch people so that they give you money. And that really, all right,
What kind of meeting is this?
get ready. That's how I get my referrals. But seriously, so I mean, the key words, right? Why and all this. A
About
touch is, what are some ways that you touch your clients, right? So it can be a mailer, it can be an email, it can be taking them to coffee. But let me tell you, I'm gonna blow your mind. You need to be touching your sphere a minimum of 40 times in 2023. And it's not because you need to keep up with any of these other numbers, but I'm telling you that Amazon is in front of their clients 8 times a day. That's through the app on their phone, it's packages being delivered on their doorstep. It's a lot of different ways, but they're in front of their clients 8 times. And I'm not saying you need to be that much, but here's what we're dealing with, you guys. TikTok, all of these things that are shrinking our attention span. And so if we are not in front of them again and again and again, then we're yesterday's news, quite literally. So 40 times sounds like a lot. And my coach never lets me back down from the number, but I will say this to you. Somewhere between nothing and 40 is much better than where you are. So I'm never gonna push you to do 40 because economically that doesn't make sense, right? But I wanna give you guys some ideas today on how I do this. So we talked about what the sphere is, and like I said, I'm gonna teach you how to touch your clients so that they give you money, so let's dive in. I will tell you who I am and why you should listen and how many years I've been in business, but thank you, Chris, for doing that. But today we're here to skip all of that because I honestly believe that real estate has too much ego in it. And I've had to dial myself back because I'm only 40, but I'm old school. So I come from competition, I come from Century 21, nothing wrong with it, but we like to talk numbers, we like to talk production, we like to talk how many units you did. I'm here at Highgarden because the culture and the environment that they foster isn't about competition. And I'm here talking to you guys today because I want to see you killing it. Right, Nathan? Like, I mean, literally, you guys, I really care, not only about my team, but I care about this agency because Chris and Steve and Brian have been so good to me. I want to give back. So I really encourage you guys to work with me this year and check me if I continue to have ego posts or anything like that. I'm working on it, okay? But let me just say, this isn't about social media, but people don't care how many houses you're selling. It doesn't affect them. You're self-congratulating. And the only people who ever like those posts are my realtor friends. So stop doing it and let's start talking to our clients about things that they care about. I want you in 2023 to be the knowledge brokers, right? I want you to create businesses through relationships, not churning and burning transactions. And a very well-known real estate agent was with Ray and I at a convention, and he was killing it. Well, I'm talking, like, how many millions of dollars was he doing? 10?
Yeah.
7 to 10? And we were just like, we're at a Tom Ferry convention, and it was his first time being there. He literally had never followed up with a past client ever. Now, knowing his personality, I could kind of see why. But you know, you don't have to be Mr. Congeniality just to follow up with a client, right? So he literally, all of his transactions were brand new. And I just think that's exhausting. Like, it's exhausting to think about. Starting over, proving yourself every single time, and not to mention buying all of your leads from Zillow, which is a hell of a hard thing to do to get people to warm up to you. So, keep going, Mark. So, in my experience, having a sphere of influence that constantly feeds my business is one that I prefer. So, let's clear our minds and get rid of any preconceived notions about what you're going to hear today. What an SOI is and what you do. We've all heard this shit a million times, right? We listen to podcasts, we read books, we do all of this. Literally in real estate, nothing is original. I don't think I've ever had an original idea, but I am a master of ripping off and duplicating what other people do successfully. In my first 6 years, I was all original. And I burned out. I was trying to, if someone had a template for a flyer, I didn't want it. I wanted to make my own template. My template was better. I wanted a different open house flyer. I wanted my signs to look different. I wanted everything to be mine. And when you wear as many hats as you guys are trying to wear in this business, you can't do that. And frankly, there's no need to do it. And actually, my idea sucked. So in the world that we live in now, I want to encourage you to look at the agents that are killing it, that match what you like, that do what you do, basically that have your vibe, and then rip off and duplicate it. And I mean, now here's the thing. I've seen people rip off and duplicate me, and it's just flattery, like, great. Because here's the thing, there's enough for everyone, you guys. I operate from the mindset of abundance. If you are fear-based and you think that Sarah is coming after my clients, I promise you, my clients won't like Sarah the way that they like me. You know what I mean? Like, if you rip off and duplicate, you're making it your own, so don't worry about that. But don't do it in such a way that it's like, that's clearly Ian's thing. I mean, he's got a vibe, right? And if I rip off and duplicate that, people are gonna DM me and be like, you're trying to be Ian, and I can't do that. So here's what is really, really important. My SOI only has people in it, here are the qualifications, who would recognize me in a grocery store, wave at me, and here's where it gets serious. Make their way to me to have a conversation. You can't have people in your SOI, that I'm talking about today, in tier 1, that wouldn't move out of the line to make their way to you to have a conversation. I don't want just the waivers. You know, like, we're like, I'm busy, I see you, I'm going, I want the people who want to talk to me. Does that make sense? All right, the people in my SOI have to meet that criteria. An SOI is a living, breathing, always changing document that has these things in it at minimum. The name, address, phone number, email, the date of their home purchase, and their birthday. It's simple. Now, my SOI still is in my binder in an Excel spreadsheet. I have no rules here today except this one. If you're the person who says, it's up here, it's not. And you can't grow a business that way. It was up here until I started to want to make millions of dollars in production, and then it has to be on paper. Now, most people have it in a CRM. That's a different class. We're not going to go that far. But if you get it into a CRM, wonderful. I can't get my team to do that. I can't do it. But a spreadsheet is good, right? And it has to be ever changing. And if it's with you all the time, then you can make those changes. So I just want to say really quickly, if you have an SOI and you have their name and you have a phone number but not an email. This is the beginning of the year, guys. This is the perfect time for this shit. All right, so you have their phone number but not their email. You have their email but not their address. Here's what you're gonna do. The first touch that you're going to do is, hey Ray, it's Mark. Thanksgiving was a shit show and I'm so ready for this to all be over. How are you guys doing? The Ford method, right? Family, occupation, recreation and dreams, talk to them. I am cleaning my sphere of influence up for the new year and I just realized I don't have your freaking email. What is it? All right, so that's a touch. It's a free touch. And now you're back in front of them. Also, one of the forms of this, if you don't have an SOI yet, is the apology. Because I think a lot of people think like, why am I gonna reach out to this person? What are they gonna say to me? I don't want to reach out to them. That's what I think all the time. The apology is amazing. The apology is, hey, it's Mark. I am so sorry I haven't kept up with you. I had a baby. That would be amazing. But in the new year, I want to do a better job of keeping up with you. You know, I saw on Facebook that you actually did have a baby, and congratulations. I want to get some information together, see how that works. Like, it's a free touch. Who thinks that would be a good way to build your SOI? But here's the only way your SOI is going to work is if you have all these, you have the email, you have to have their home address, and you have to have their phone number for what I'm about to tell you. So there's your way to get into it. All right, so moving on to the next thing. I told you it has allowed me to grow my business exponentially. Now let's really dig in. So I'm going to challenge you about what an SOI really is. You're leaving business on the table every single day. And I'm about to give you an example. Read the following, okay, get your pen and paper. I'm going to read the following job titles and I want you to write down the name that pops into your head that correlates with this. It's fast, here we go. Your spouse, their immediate family, 3 co-workers at your last job, your 2 favorite neighbors, your accountant, and if you don't have it, obviously don't write it down, architect, lawyer, mechanic, babysitter / childcare, one of your kids' favorite teachers, your dentist, your hairstylist. And I'm going to tell you about that.
Does Floby count?
No. Insurance agent, lawn guy, you get it, right? Now, honestly, who was able to write down a name and that person is not in your SOI? Anybody have somebody that you wrote? Raise your hands up, higher, higher, higher. See what I'm talking about, lost opportunity on the table? You guys, I have a fuck ton of books and I read them constantly, but this one is the bomb. I will buy it for you if you can't get it. SOI, and this guy, everything he does is fire. Why? Because there's no fluff. It tells you exactly how to do it. And if you actually followed it, I guarantee you, you could make $50,000 more next year.
What's the offer?
SOI, Brian Eisenhower. It's on Amazon. You can get used copies, and honestly, I hand them out like, right? I hand them out like they're candy. So that's the first book recommendation. In the first couple chapters, it's going to tell you how to build your SOI, and he does this exercise with you. Now, here's what you have to do. You wrote down people that should be in your SOI and they're not. So what would be the logical explanation of what the next step is? Yeah, put them in your SOI. Alright, so I've already made you a lot of money. I'm gonna tell you how to do it, okay? Now, I know that you didn't have a name for every one of these people, and I know that this exercise could go on forever, but you understand what I'm getting at. If you have an SOI, it's not as big as it could be. And if you don't have an SOI, you don't understand what you're missing out on. Now, put your pen down and think about this. Get your iPhone out. Go to your contacts. Have you ever done this before? If you just pull up your contacts here. And there's this alphabet on the side and you scroll all the way down to the very, 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 very bottom. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Do it, do it, do it, because I want you to hold up your phone. When you get to the very bottom, see this number? What's your number?
541.
866.
Melissa, what's your number?
It's 14,000.
14,000. No, but really, this collects information from like your entire life, right? Do you think a couple of her 14,000 people are not on her SOI and they should be? This is an exercise. If you only take one thing away from today, I have 2,740 people in here and I guarantee you I could add people. This has to be a living, breathing document. So what you have done is you've begun to build your SOI, and what you have to understand is that it's never ending, okay? So I teach with stories, and I want you guys to listen to this one. I'm teaching about SOI. I work my business clear through my SOI. Listen to this. It just happened. My hairstylist that I have been going to for 13 years was not on my SOI. I sat in his chair every 4 weeks. We talk, I know his life, he knows mine, and I'm not marketing to him. One of my 40 touches a year is not going out to this man. I put him on my SOI 4 months ago. 9 a.m. in the morning, 6 weeks ago, I get a phone call. If you know me, I'm not up at 9 a.m. I literally thought the man must be done. I answer the phone. Mark, what are you doing? I'm sleeping and I am a mess when I'm sleeping. Like, you see this hair, like it's like, it doesn't look like this, and you know, I stay up late. You guys might get DMs and messages and texts from me like 3 o'clock in the morning. Anyways, you have to get your ass here right now. My hair's fine, dude. Just saw you 2 weeks ago, like I'm good. No, now, Mark. Not him, but the stylist next to him has a woman sitting in the chair who just said, I'm selling my house. And they called me. He's never done this before. He was activated. Write this down. Activated. He was in my life forever, and when I put him in my SOI, I activated him. He activated me at 9 a.m. in the morning. I could have said, I'm not doing this. But I did, with no information. I went there. Sharon lost her husband last year. She's been talking about selling her house for a long time. She has now decided she is selling her house. Her $1.5 million house on Geist. And they said, I've got a gun. That was it. I went, I talked to Sharon for 10 minutes. I listened. I went the next morning to her house. We filled out listing paperwork. I beat out 3 other agents, known Geist agents, because her hairstylist that she trusts more than anything in this world told her I was the guy. That's a raving fan. That's activation. Do you want to do that? Okay. So, that's me working with a story. Now, it was a 1.5 house. I would have gladly went for a $250,000 house. You have to hear me right now. What you're gonna hear in the next couple of minutes is stuff that sounds big. It's big because that's my personality. It's move because that's me, right? I don't care what you do. You'll get there at one point, or maybe you won't, and you'll be smarter because you're not spending the money, but you've got to be touching your clients. Do you know what this is? Every single year, my clients get this on their doorstep the day of their houseversary. And it has the most amazing cute card that's handwritten by me. That said, and that's another thing, I do stuff big, right? I have an admin who handwrites everything for me. Why? Because handwritten will go the distance over everything else. And I teach my team that a phone call is better than and a text is better than and an email is better than, but move and a handwritten card is better than all of them. But I mean, this is a box from Amazon and some fluff stuff in the middle of it. And if you want to put an $8 bottle of Prosecco in it, it doesn't matter. This gets the biggest response I have ever gotten. And you can move it up or you can tone it down. It doesn't matter, but get something, because guess what? There are 150 of these in my assistant's garage right now. You have to systematize this stuff. He gets a list of what he's supposed to do this month. They get delivered. He sends me a text message with a picture of their front porch and the box on it. And I text the picture to my client and I say, surprise, happy houseversary. And then let the love fest begin. Conversations. It's either a phone call immediately, a text message, and if I get nothing, they get crossed off my SOI and I call an ambulance because they're probably dead. All right, so here's how you build your SOI. You have to keep building it. Let's use 554. So every day you need to be talking to 5 people that are in your SOI already, and then you need to be adding 5 people that are not in your SOI. You can add them from your phone that I just showed you. You can add them from Facebook, because I bet you have people that you really do interact with on Facebook that are not on your sphere. You can add them from the practice list that we just did, your hairstylist, whatever. And then my mission for my SOI is to create a meaningful relationship that exists long after the transaction is over. And I do this because it creates new businesses or new business opportunities, and it enriches my life. One of my closest friends and team members they're actually my past client. Nathan, raise your hand.
Question, I missed the 4. You said 5.
Oh, sorry, yeah, 554. So 5 people in your SOI, talk to them, add 5 people from outside your SOI, and have 4 follow-up conversations. So maybe, one of these 5 conversations you had a couple months ago, you need to follow up on. All right, so we talked about who goes into your SOI, where you pull from, and not to get hung up on the level of money that I spend or what I do, but we already did that. Actually commit to engaging with your sphere at a level you're comfortable with. And when I say, yes, we did that. Now that you've had your SOI built out, it's time to engage and activate them. You can start small and grow this over time. And the things that you can do from behind the desk is you can contact them by phone, email, a newsletter, mailers, postcards, and handwritten cards, and that's all pretty much free. And we have one of my most favorite people who just came to the agency, Brianna. Can you stand up and wave? I did that. She's from Century 21. She is talented AF. And she does things I don't know how to do. And everything that I send out to my sphere comes from her. I would encourage you to get with her and see what you might be able to do this year because she has ideas. Now, there's, I don't know what the word is, kitschy, like pop-by stuff that you see people do. I'm not going to bash on anything. If you want to send out casserole recipes, it's better than nothing at all. But I would like us to move more towards that knowledge broker this year. I would like everyone to start out the beginning of their year by giving their clients a comparative market analysis. And I can show you how to do that. I've got a kick-ass method for it. Help them understand what their largest investment is doing. Chris has an entire platform that is based on HomeBot that you can activate and send them automatically their home values, what it would rent for if they did 12 days on Airbnb, all of these things that is knowledge that isn't asking them, hey, will you sell your house? No, don't do that, right? Like, let's try to be organic and authentic and help them. Things that you can do, I'm gonna give you some of my best ideas, okay? Really quickly. Housewarming parties for your past clients. I'm gonna go through this really quickly, but at closing, and I'll tell you a story. I was at closing, there was their realtor and me. So he was over there and I was over here with my clients, and it got weird because like they were sending the funding documents. So I thought I'll just go ahead and give them their closing gift, right? And I wasn't trying to talk to him and he wasn't trying to talk to me, but boy, did I get his attention. So I gave them this candle, $15 candle from Unplugged Soy Candles. Always go locally, network with the people that you know. They are clients of mine. And I said, I want to give you this candle. I want to give you something that really matters because I don't want to be the realtor that gives you the cookie cutting board that has your name etched in it. And I laughed, and my clients laughed because they get it. He didn't laugh. More on that later. But look, go to the next level. You open up my candle and it says, let's get lit. It has a website on it. They go to this website and I throw them their housewarming party. They fill out a form that gives me all of their best friends to come to their housewarming party. Now I've got all that data, and what I do with it is sinister. I do drop $300 to $400 or upwards on stocking their bar at their housewarming party. And I have captive freaking audience. I send out invites to them, hard copy, and I create a page and and I touch them. It's all about touching them. Hey, can't wait for you to come to Sarah's housewarming party. Really looking forward to it. It's not about me, not about house sales. I am now an event planner. And all I have to do is Marcus and I stop at the liquor store, buy whatever they have put on here that they like, show up, don't overstay your welcome, 1 hour max, but you make it impactful. And I give away, or I do give away, little gifts of like, you know, the bin at Target that has like $1 stuff, $3 stuff, put a gift basket together, give it to their clients. Guess where I was last night? Last night, I was in Speedway, meeting with a 25-year-old girl and her brand new husband who came to a housewarming party 8 days ago. I gave a gift basket, she called me to buy a new house. This shit works. And it's fun. And they're in my sphere now. and she is activated. Last night, she told me about her coworker, who is what? Buying a house. And I have an appointment with them next Tuesday. I don't know. It just feels easy to me. It really does. And I love it. So it's little things, scale it how you want. Next one, an MVP, we'll talk about this later, but Mark's Most Valuable Partners, there is a book called Perk Your Sphere. It's cheap, it's on Amazon. I read it on a plane going from Indianapolis to New York. That's how small it is. I did everything that is in the book, and now it's real good, guys. It creates a culture, it creates a Facebook group, your clients are in it, and you are touching them in a lot of different ways, and I'll let the book tell you how to do it. For Christmas, my sphere of influence is getting cocoa bombs. There's a mug, there's 2 cocoa bombs in it, and a little pop-by card that Brianna did that says, I think you're the bomb. It's cheesy, but it's Christmas and it doesn't ask them for anything, but they're activated and the people love it. And they post pictures of their kids dropping the bombs in the mud. And that, you know, have you ever had a cocoa bomb that explodes, marshmallows come out? I've had like 8 of them this week because some of my clients are not getting them. But it's a fun little way to keep touching them. And then I'm gonna tell you one other thing. Once you get your sphere together, I thought that my mortgage broker loved me. And I found out that he does love me, but some of his stuff is kind of not what I thought it was. So I would get these phone calls like the day of a Pacers game. Hey, do you and Marcus want to go to the Pacers game in my suite? I'm like, yeah. I don't watch basketball, sports ball, whatever it is, but I love to watch people. It's professional. And so I always go, but I'm like, he must love me. He must really love me. And what I ended up asking was, what are you doing? Why do I get to keep going to the things? And he said, do you really want to know? And I said, yeah. And he goes, you're the one that ends up answering. So here's what he does. Scale this what you will. $15 Pacer tickets if that's available, or sweet, whatever you do. But you put together a list of your SOI, whatever event it is. If it's, you know, Dirks Bentley, then the people that go at the top of your list are the people who have kids that will not go to the concert, right? Do you get where I'm going? People who don't like country music go at the top of your list. People who have kids and don't like country music go to the top of your list. And you make a list and you pick up the phone. Hi, it's Mark. I was thinking of you. Want to go to Dirks Bentley? No, you can't. Oh, I'm so sorry. Next call. Hi, it's Mark. You can get through an entire list, and those $80 tickets for the lawn just put you back at the top. You get where I'm going? And it's genius. And now they're like, oh, my agent loves me so much, but this has to be the day of, like maybe hours before, so that you can get a bunch of no's before you get to a yes. I was always his yes. Because I was gay, I don't like sports ball, I'm at the bottom of the list, or he was putting me at the top of the list, but I always said yes, that's what it is. He was putting me at the top of the list because he thought I wouldn't like basketball, but I like anything free, fun, where people are. So I always said yes, so he started putting me at the bottom of his list. All right, it's getting deep in here, so we're getting into time. I don't want to waste your time. But here's, if you want to go really nuts, this is how much I love touching my sphere. I talked Marcus into buying a boat this year. Oh. Why? Because I love boating. Who's paying for my boat? Marcus, my clients. So, listen to this. I love people, I love boating, and I created this amazing, Brianna did it for me, QR code. So all summer long, we had clients out. Probably one of my most favorite things I have ever done. I made some really really meaningful relationships with clients that I didn't know that well. You put yourself on a boat with someone, now I know this is crazy guys, but this is how far you can take it or how far you don't. For 3 hours with alcohol, music, and me, we're either walking away really close or we're walking away forever. I only had the boat for June, July, and August. And I can contribute $52,000 in commission directly from those boat days. And I had fun. I really did. Be creative. The things you're already doing, you can invite people. They want to be, as much as you want to be known, liked, and trusted, they want the same thing. Interaction is what your sphere wants. They want experiences. They want to be heard, cared, and loved on. And that's really all I'm talking about. So, I can talk forever. I'm gonna finish up with Boo Bash, and I'm just gonna give you an example. I was doing events for my sphere of influence. It's really important. I do the same kooky events that every real estate agent who does them does, because they work. I have something called Boo Bash that I had done branch Boo Bash year and year and year again, and it didn't work because I didn't do it right. I rent out an orchard, I have pumpkin pictures, I have photographers there, I do all of this stuff, but I wasn't doing the work. And I couldn't figure out why people weren't showing up. This year, I had Boo Bash, and the first thing I did was send a hard copy invite that Brianna created in the mail. I sent an email. And then I sent an RSVP email separately. So now I've touched them 3 times. Fourth touch, a week later, I called them to make sure that they got the invite. Then fifth is the night before, I send directions on where to park. Everybody knows where to park, but that was just a reminder, hey, the event is tomorrow, you know, like it gets it in their head. Now listen to this. I got them to the event and you're thinking, Mark, chill out, you're done. No. I had my professional photographers take pictures. They sign a waiver that says I can post it on the internet. So after it's over, the 6th touch is 3 days later, I follow up and I deliver the pictures to their email. I call them to make sure they got it. That's the 7th touch. The 8th touch is a week later, I send them a thank you for coming and do you want to do it again next year? I had close to 200 people and it was amazing because I dug in. So here's the thing. I got real scatterbrained and I tried to do a million different things, but when you go deep instead of wide, it works. So if you're gonna do something, go all in. And that's all I really have to say, except insincerity will kill you. You cannot simply do the activities and expect to see results. You have to have the activities, do them with meaning, with authenticity in mind. A Christmas card with a generic caption is not a touch. You're gonna need to write something on there. And I would rather you send Christmas cards to the 20 people that you can't handwrite to and say something meaningful than to send 500 Christmas cards to people that just says, Happy Holidays. That's going straight in the trash and it's a waste of your money. So, any questions? No? Yeah?
Is all of your SOI, all those clients, or do you have other?
You can put other people in it. My hairstylist never bought a house from me. But I think he gets to stay there forever.
Hey, Mark, there is a question about the website for the housewarming registration. Can you, what was that website?
No.
No.
No, I'm kidding. You can make it, it's called, I think she did it in Jot Forms. It's part of Google, but you just
Okay.
create a questionnaire.
You create your own website, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
but no, it's just like it's like a Google form,
Okay.
right? Does that sound right, you guys?
Yeah.
Something like that? I mean, I know you know probably exactly how to take it. But you just, ask them who they're inviting, what their phone number is, their address, all that stuff, and now that lives forever.
Awesome.
Chris?
How soon or when do you start planning next year? I mean, all these, you have events, you have boat rides,
I've already, my invite for the boat thing just got finished yesterday. And I won't get my boat out of storage for another 4 or 5 months, but it's gonna be booked in the next couple of weeks. I know what I'm doing. My marketing calendar is completely filled out, finally. You have to have an action plan. You can't wait because you get busy and you're not doing any of this stuff. You're just not. There's nothing wrong with it, but you gotta take action. And if anybody wants to talk about it, let me know. Giftology, I practice what I preach. This book is what is amazing. Listen to it on audio. Anybody who has ever ridden in the car with me knows I don't listen to music. I listen to podcasts. I listen to books. Okay, I listen to music. It has a lot of bad words and rap in it. And in between, I listen to Giftology. I listen to Tom Ferry. I listen to a lot of stuff. I canceled Tom Ferry this year. I don't want to pay $3,000 a month anymore for me and my team because we are stacked to the brim with ideas that we are not executing. I need to execute. Ideas, this meeting, it's nothing. It's an hour wasted listening to me if you don't take action. So please take action and have a great rest of the week.
One thing to add, if you enjoyed Mark today, definitely gonna wanna show up December 13th with Mark Branch and Bree Frazier will be doing business. Right?
It is, and it's not here, it's,
Never go off.
yeah. And if you like what I did, there's a tip jar in the back. But in all honesty, my office is at the end over there with the 3 owners, and you're always welcome to stop in. I think there's a few people in this room that can attest to that. So.
Another question, Mark. New agent. How do you start your SOI if you're a new agent? So you're
That book.
that book,
gotta
SOI
get
by
that.
Brian Eisenhower.
Yeah, it'll walk you step by step through exactly what you need to do. It'll give you action plans, and it is fire.
Perfect. And then and I just say if there was a way to automate some of the touches in the IMS, could we revisit this again with your team?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's do that because
Automation would be great. I mean, I'm not expecting 40 touches to be phone calls and coffee.
yeah, because basically the market report is 12. It goes out
Yes.
every month.
Yes.
The AVN is there's 24
There you go.
right there that you don't even have to think about.
And you should do that. You should. And that's all about.
Instead of 40, you need 60.
Yeah.
No. Now you only,
Chris, work with me.
now you only have to do 24. Yeah.
Why, Chris, why do you have to get it from A to Z? Can't we go B, C, D?
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
I'll show you the invite. It's a QR code. They scan it, they get an invite, they scan the QR code, takes them to a calendar, they pick the date that works for them, and then they come out and have fun.
Is that their calendar?
It's through Jot Forms.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's through Jot Forms.
Awesome, guys.
All right.
Fantastic.
Any other questions or anything?
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Mark.
Which, by the way, I just want to say, you said you're not a good public speaker. You mentioned
I know,
you're not a
right?
professional public speaker.
You got
did
potential.
great.
You got potential.
Yeah.
Your
got
stories were
potential.
awesome.
I might have a backup job.
Yeah.
Really?
You could have something to fall back on.
So, shout out to Ruoff and Chicago Title with the lunch,
Thank you.
You.
and Mr. Mark Branch. So,
And then online audience, any questions before we end the meeting?
Like if they didn't come,
Yeah, it's like, it's last call and Mark is,
shut it off.
are you shutting them out? It's over.
and this
Bye.
is your